yeah, if his daughter is the one that was making the arrangements for moving, and now you know that he's in the other place. So, yeah, I don't, you know, it's not like I really know what to talk to somebody about or whatever. Let's see, let's get this thing going. But that was nice. I never know what to talk to people about, you know?
Yeah.
And like with Mom, it's hard because I used to be able to talk to her about politics and religion and kids. And
she can't do that now.
No. She's very removed from that.
Yeah. I'm always glad to see her respond to you know that she knows something, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Just like that, the last time we were at Dr. Peters' office, he was talking about this size needle that he used to put this injection in her eye.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling, Dr. Peters was telling the technician that was doing the job about it, and said something, and Betty piped up and told him some more about the size of the needles. Yeah.
Yeah, and she knew, like, every time, like, she didn't forget who she needed help from when she was in the bathroom.
That's
and
right.
she would be sitting there and then would be talking about different things, and then she'd always use my name, you know, so she knew.
Yeah. But she has a problem with me.
I know, well, you know, I take my husband for granted. So you were her dad, and you were, how many different people were you today?
I've been 2 or 3 Davids.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I never even thought of when he said your dad. I'm thinking of Grandpa Riedel, but she must have been thinking you were Dave, her son. Were you? I don't know. I got very confused at that one point.
No, it's a little complicated.
And then she's just fine. She's like, well, you know, drive safely, and, you know, and all the different right things to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was probably having gas pains, you know.
Yeah. And, yeah, and she had to go to the bathroom each time that she went in there. So, I mean, she definitely had to go.
Yeah.
But that's hard to not be able to take care of the simple things, you know, without major interruptions. So you were telling me about your dad, and you said that he had a 4th grade education, and they lived in Des Moines at the time.
Des Moines at the time. That's when he broke his hip when he jumped on the Des Moines River onto a sandbar.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And hit a rock.
See, and I always thought it was one of the rivers in, you know, Nebraska or something.
Des Moines River in Des Moines, Iowa, right in the city.
Okay.
And then they went to Omaha. Of course, Peter Gare died in Des Moines. And she married William Riddle.
I thought it was like on the boat that he died, you know, coming over.
No, he was over here.
So how did they, was it like a community of Germans or something?
Kathy has that down pretty darn close.
So, okay, so the Gares went to Texas first. Where in Texas? Like,
they were in Texas, yeah.
Where in Texas?
Then they went from there to Des Moines.
Dallas, Texas, or where?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so he was a Gare at that point. And then he went to Des Moines.
Des Moines.
And then they moved to Omaha.
And at Omaha, William Riddle was making cigars, but he was also playing in John Philip Sousa's band and transposed music for him for different things. And then they decided to go out to Sheridan.
But now, where did the Gare die and Rosa?
Peter Gare died in Des Moines.
In Des Moines. And then that's where Rosa and
met Rosa.
Okay.
And they got married. And when they were in Omaha, they were in the grocery business. Like Dad's how he used to deliver groceries to the Creightons.
Mm-hmm.
Then they decided, through talking to the grocery people, that Sheridan would be a good place to establish a grocery store. So they went out.
Why Sheridan, I wonder?
I don't know.
Well, there was mining there.
No, Sheridan.
Or no.
Sheridan was. There were some coal mines near there, but that then it wouldn't generate Sheridan.
Okay. What did
I don't know why
Sheridan? Where did
Sheridan-
Sheridan make their money? I mean, there's a.
It's the location, probably some of it, 'cause that's one of the lowest spots in Wyoming. Sheridan is 3,800. It's one of the lowest elevations in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
And
So then they have that. I have a picture of your dad and great grandpa Riedel in front of the William Riedel store,
mhm.
and I got those. I made them out of some of those pictures from, I guess whoever has the originals, Tom maybe.
It could be.
And they had the grocery store, and then next door they had like
a sort of a china shop or something like
for
that.
like home goods.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Rosa, they call it Rosa, but the reason Rosa, that's the German pronunciation of rose.
oh, okay. So
Uh,
and then is Sister Mary Jude, Aunt Rosal is Rose
Rose Alicia.
Alicia.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then they combine it to be Rosal.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, because I always thought Rosal was the name.
No, I did too.
Because I thought, well, maybe we should name one of our kids like Rosal. And I thought, who is that name? It's not in any books.
That's right, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. And so
They
then
had the grocery store and the china shop, and they had a real reputation. By the way, did you know that the house that I was born in is up for sale now? They're asking $2.5 million.
Oh my gosh. I have a picture of that house. That's that real pretty,
Yeah.
like.
Ruthie went through it
Ah.
when she was out there. Yeah.
Wow. They started out pretty good. Now, how come there was some sort of a big downturn? Something happened.
Here's what happened. They had some coal mine strikes, and Grandpa and Rosa decided they would give them the groceries they needed on a tab.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the strike lasted a couple of years. So you figure you give away your groceries for two years, it's run you into debt.
Yeah.
And then they had a problem. The Peabody Coal Company was his state headquarters in Pennsylvania, had bought some land adjacent to their coal property out there, and were going on a diagonal down and were taking coal out from under my grandparents' property. And so they had a big lawsuit on it. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they won it. But they also had this big debt from the other. You take the amount of money it cost to support people in Washington D.C. for that trial.
Mm-hmm.
It was more than they could handle. And then I guess the other thing is, as Mom said, Rose was having a problem mentally.
Mm.
Everything was in her mind. She knew everything about everything there.
Mm-hmm.
And when she lost it, she lost it.
Mm.
So that was real.
Do you think that, how sometimes people can be really intelligent and they know everything. They know everything, and that there's like too much going on. And then a lot of people that really have high IQs have trouble.
All of a sudden they go.
Yeah, because they've got too much going on and they can't. They lose. Yeah. I don't know how to say it, but they have a hard time processing everything.
Yeah.
So when all of this stress came down, Grandma.
And she died.
Great Grandma Riedel died, but where did she die? Did she pass away?
Sheridan.
In Sheridan? Okay.
And shortly after that, Mary and Grandpa.
And Mary is the half-sister of your dad.
That's right.
Who was the heavily favored, given everything, right. And your dad kind of was like the black sheep.
Dad was always having problems with her. Dad would take the eggs from their chickens and take them into the store, and they'd count them out and get the money. And once in a while, Mary would take them before Dad got a chance to, and she would pocket the money. So Dad figured, well, he'll fix her. So they had these eggs, and he went in and took a lot of eggs out, and where he took the eggs out, he put a rock. And they went into the store, they got into that, and she got into trouble. But,
well,
yeah.
I remember being in Wyoming and not knowing anything about some half-sister like that, and I don't know if it was Uncle Bill or if it was Uncle Austin that was talking and was really irritated. And then he said that they moved out to California and they never saw or heard from her again or something. I mean, do you know?
She wrote to me when I was in the Army.
Oh, okay.
But she wrote to me to go down the Black Forest and get her a cuckoo clock.
Oh.
And, between Dodge and German bullets, I didn't have much time for a cuckoo clock.
I wonder if did she ever have any family or anything? Is there any relation out in that direction?
Bill went out there, and it sounded like she had a great place. She was just a little flower shop on the corner.
Oh.
And she wasn't doing well at all.
Oh.
And her friend was with her. They both went from Sheridan down there.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Well, there is a family in our area, and their name is Rydal, Rydahl. And they talk about someone in their family being in John Philip Sousa's band, and I started thinking, I wonder, Riedel, I wonder.
Could be.
But I don't think so. I mean, because the DAHL, I think, is more, I don't know. I don't want to say Scandinavian, something like that. It's I don't think it's German. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
But I doubt that it's the same.
Well, Riedel in German.
Riedel, because the E, you say the E.
And it comes from the verb to be very talkative.
I said that.
You know now.
I said that to. I think you told me that in high school. I said that to Mr. Cody or something like that, and he had a heyday with that. And there he said, "You should be a lawyer. You're talkative." I don't know that I'm always talkative. I thought he was kind of quiet.
Working with the teams on
the mock trial lawyers.
Mock trial lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael was now he's in electrical, and he was in their robot team. And they placed second or third out of San Diego or wherever they had the tournament. He's smart.
Yeah.
He didn't let it on very much, but and Julie's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked Ruthie today how Julie was doing, because I asked how Colleen was doing, and she said she's getting like A's, pretty much straight, real high grades. And then I said, how's Julie doing? And she says, well, I really don't know. But she says, but she's so smart. I'm sure she's doing just really great. So,
yeah.
But, well, maybe Rose Riedel, if that was, so let me also ask, all right, it was Rose Riedel And then before that it was Gare.
Yeah.
But her maiden name would have been
Tirolier, I think it was, yeah.
Okay. Now that's a French name, isn't it?
That's French, yeah. She was, I think, at eighth French or 10th, a quarter of French or something.
Okay, something small.
She was born in Ulm.
Ulm?
U-L-M, Ulm.
Okay.
And Ulm is south of Munich.
Mm-hmm.
When I came down, when I was going to Paris, we drove down through Ulm early in the morning. There are a lot of people walking around the streets, and they're all little.
Do they say it the same way?
I'm not talking about their physical, how they were. Their physical, they were small people.
Okay.
It's like Dad, Mom.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So their stature, just like you said earlier, that you could tell this person was German of the Alsatians. This one's German. This one's French, and they all looked like your parents. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. There was somebody in our area, and I just went to a bank thing, and we all had name tags on. It was for like the trust department or something, and the guy's name, it was almost like Riedel. And I laughed. I said, your name's almost my maiden name. And then I said mine was R-E-D-L-E, and his was R. It had like 2 L's or 2 D's in it. I don't remember how it was a variation. And I said I laughed because when I was in college, about the time, but just after I had met Dave, some guy asked me out and his name was Riedel. But it was R-E-I-D-L.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. And I thought that was funny too when Clyde Guild said, all these years I've been calling him Riddle. And and what did he say? That was like after we were in Ohio, I think, wasn't it? It was like years later. He's like, I finally was told that I was mispronouncing his name.
Talking about Riddle, when I was safety director at the plant, we had that long strike, mm-hmm. and we had some chemicals that you couldn't ship by rail because it was hazardous. Mm-hmm. And so they had to go by a special way, and they had us blocked in. They wouldn't let the special truck out, so forth. So they rented a helicopter and went outside the plant a couple, 2 or 3 miles, and took the IPP and so forth there on our property and flew it over to.
What's IPP?
Isopropyl percarbonate. That's an accelerator that's used to speed up the polymerization of resins for a lot of plastics.
Okay.
And it is very sensitive. If you get to above 55 degrees, you had to dump it in water. Because if you want to go below there, it's going to explode. Mm. So we had some of that a little bit, but anyway, we would fly it out to our salvage area, and the chopper would come in and pick it up and take it out. And they used to record all the conversations that came into the safety office. And this one guy, I know him real well, he called and he told Maggie, who was the secretary, mm-hmm. You tell that Riddle if that chopper flies tomorrow, we're going to shoot it down. And it was on recording, you know. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I heard that, we called the FBI. They came out and heard that, and they were stationed around the area. Mm-hmm. And if they'd have shot at that helicopter, they were in real trouble because they had the whole FBI.
Oh, wow.
But anyway.
Is that when we lived here at this house and we had to keep our drapes closed? Didn't somebody throw something? Did they throw something at us or somebody else, and then they were afraid that other families would get targeted?
It could have been us. They went around and humiliated It damaged people, probably scared them
Yeah.
anywhere they were.
That's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
I remember that though, and I was kind of little. I remember just that we were supposed to keep the drapes closed and not have the lights on.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And you weren't at home for a long time
That's
because
right, I was in the plant all the time.
yeah, and just kind of weird, you know, because
Yeah.
you don't know what's going
That's
on.
what was going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes they got rather heated up.
Hmm.
It's funny, you go on strike, these were all my friends. I mean, I didn't have any enemies, I don't think.
Mhm.
And the first week of the strike, they were real friendly, still like ever.
Mhm.
Second week, they weren't as much because they were getting pinched financially.
Mhm.
And pretty soon, they were hostile, you know.
Mhm.
But I stood through it all right.
Well, Dave's mom would be so mad at Hank because all these guys in the union would talk them all into going on strike, and then she had these little kids at home that needed to eat,
Yeah.
and Hank was peeling potatoes for fish fries and doing all this extra work. And when it comes right down to the end, and I think once you said something like this, and then later on in college at one of my business classes, they talked about, you know, this is what the union would say they wanted, and this is what the management would say they were going to get, and then they'd go on strike, and these families would lose so much money in unpaid
Right.
wages, they
That's right.
never could make it up.
That's right.
And so it really didn't pay to go on strike. Not that there needs to be some sort of a negotiation, but you can't get bullied into going on to strike
When they go on
because
strike, they're going to have something very serious to go to strike on.
right.
This strike, we had 103 days. The company made a good, generous offer. It was better than the rest of the chemical plants at that time.
Mhm.
And they had a president of the union who was a greenhorn and didn't know what he was talking about, and he promised them $1 an hour increase in pay.
Yeah. In that day and age, that was in
they
the, was
went
that in the
100
'60s?
103 days, and they came back, and it was about three cents more than what we offered them before they went on strike.
Yeah. So, yeah, they didn't make any on it. And I know Dot would get really mad and just be infuriated because it's easy for these guys to say, but we're the ones that have to be peeling potatoes and,
That's
you know,
right.
worrying about the kids, you know, whether, not that they were going to starve, but they were having trouble, you know.
Oh, it's
most
rough.
of these families,
It's rough, yeah.
they live from paycheck to paycheck, you know. And, I remembered that when I was a kid and being scared. That's what I remember. And do you know what year that was by any chance? I mean, it had to be the 60s.
1970.
70? Okay.
It was
Oh.
70, wait, no, that's late 1970. 1973.
Well, then I would have been in 8th
70
grade.
74.
Then I would have been in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Do you want some?
Okay.
Okay.
There's Dave dangerously.
Yeah.
There.
There, a whole little
that was-
lick of it.
Over the top.
Dave calls that a spit. That's just a spit.
There's a lot of things went bad, you know, those things. Like, we had a lot of picket lines.
Mm-hmm.
They went down at the main, right in front of the main office, or down the street from where everybody come in, and that was the main one. The union headquarters is 2 blocks up the street from there,
Mm-hmm.
and they were pretty vicious. I'd go down and have a recorder and talk to them. This one day they got to where the pickets had brought in a bunch of wood used, you know, for their fire.
Mm-hmm.
They had a whole pile of it there, and the cars would come in, and these guys would throw those things under their car, block them up. See.
Mm-hmm.
So I went down, and the police chief was down there. He didn't do his job during the strike. He should have been doing.
He didn't know he didn't want to be on anyone's side, probably,
That's right.
or he picked
Yeah.
one
So
over the
anyway,
other.
we were both down there. those guys would throw them under the wheel, we'd pull them out. Finally, I figured, well, just throw them and drop them in the same place I put up, so I took them to walk over a little way and throw them away. And they wouldn't go over to get those. They were looking for those ones that they could recycle, you know.
The easy ones.
Yeah. At one time, they were pretty mean down the corner, and they had somebody from the arbitration board, Department of Labor, was
DLR,
coming to see us, and John Rogers gave them his office for where to come, which meant he'd have to go through this picket line. And the guy down there, and they wouldn't let him in. They were sort of beating him rough, and finally they came out. Of course, the
guys gave him his credentials, and then they
let him in. But that sort of sealed the situation in the mind of the arbitration orders, what was going on.
Yeah, DLR, Department of Labor, DLHR, DLRH, Department of Labor. No, the DLR, whatever, the Department of Labor and Human Relations or whatever, I can't remember. I used to know the initials, I can't remember now.
We had 3,300 acres, and it was pretty hard to protect the pipelines that ran through that 3,300 acres. Well,
what was on those pipelines?
Brine, salt, dissolved salt coming from there. We were in production. We didn't shut down. See, I had been reading sometime, and I saw in Vietnam they had developed a star camera, and so I got a hold of people in Pittsburgh, and they went further, and they got the star camera. And Jim Boley, who was very good with cameras, he got to know how to use it, and he went out. Now you could go in the pitch dark. If there's one star in the sky, that's sufficient light to operate the camera, and we take pictures of like, you know. And
so it wasn't the same as like what they have right now, where they can go into those night goggles. It used some kind of different technology, probably, right? Or
could be. Anyway, they had a place where there's two of these brine lines. They're 20 inches, and they're steel with a concrete lining on the inside of them, so forth. And they were busting them up. And Jim Boley was out there, and he was taking pictures. It was pitch dark. And the next morning, the union committee was called into downtown to one of the courtrooms, and started showing those signs around. Where did you get that? How'd you do that? It was pictures, and there's that word. Is that you? Yes. But when we got through with it, Nature in West Virginia went on strike. And so they asked if they could, Nature, we had a plant down in Nature in West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
And so we sent the star camera down there.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing, except in that case, there's one of the picketers shot one of the company people, killed him.
And they had to.
We had it all on camera.
And it was all on camera. Oh my gosh.
And that pretty well chilled that strike. It dropped out right there.
Yeah, that's. You know, we had something in the in our area in the paper mills where it was a union kind of thing, but where somebody was stealing things, and I guess the guy was probably in the union still. He didn't like change or anything like that, but it was right when Dave and I kind of moved into the area, or when I started paying attention to the news, because I was always so darn busy before that, but and I can't remember his name now, but these guys did something they didn't like, because these guys were stealing different things out of the plant, and he kind of told on them somehow, or might have told
Yeah.
on them. And all of a sudden this guy is missing, and they found his bones at the bottom of like a vat of like acid that they used to a pulp mill kind of thing. And it was the same kind of thing where it was they just tried to bully him into things, and they were being mean, and I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they get carried away. Like I had a good friend, back to we hired into the chemical in one of the lower operating jobs, but he shined right away, you know, he didn't belong there, he belonged way up.
Yeah.
And he got to where he was the head of our cement plant when we shut the cement plant down. And he went to one of our competitors and was running that plant, and they had a strike, and somebody had a